Hello guys, today we're back on the free to play and it's not gonna be an episode. I'm gonna keep on explaining the strategy because of a lot of comments on the new strategy. I want to explain it a bit more. A lot of you had valid points in the strategy, but I also feel like I did a bad job explaining it properly. So what I'm doing is in between pulls is putting in the A tiers. And what happens when you put in the A tiers is that the A tier pulls that isn't a high roll, for example, these normal pulls here can only be these 4 heroes. So you're kind of forcing the game to give you these heroes, and that's why I think it's really good strategy to use in the beginning. And of course, instead of putting Lucius in my wish list, could have put Corrin instead, and then it would force the game to give me Merrily, Odie, and Coco. But I kind of like Lucius, he's pretty strong, and I want to get him up to Legendary Plus at least. So he's there soon, because then I can increase the healing done and so on. Even if it's just the default and I don't upgrade it, it increases the healing a bit. On my main account, I basically used Temesia, Lucius, and Rowan a lot. And then I had Thoran and Cecia, but I'm not going Cecia on this account. So that's why I like Lucius. And he might not be the best, and there might be better strategies to it, but I just wanted to explain that part. So that's why he's in there, because I like him and I kind of want to force him up a bit. And if I were to high roll Corrin, it's still decent. Still a very good, like, defense hero. Like, he gives it shield, he's jumping around, shielding heroes and so on. And the rest is just because, sure, if I high roll and get Sylvina or Viperion, it could be kind of bad. Not wrong about that. But if I get Damien, Corrin, or Arden, it's really good. And sure, it's 5% chance to high roll it. The odds of high rolling isn't that high. Anyways, sure, it's higher than the normal one. And the epic is designed in a way that it will... oops, wrong. The epic is designed more to be like, hey, here you can push the S tiers you want and be more specific, or have a higher chance of getting the heroes you really want. Instead of in here it's 1 out of 8, but here it's 1 out of 5. So you have a higher chance getting an S tier. But I just like the odds of doing this. Like, if I get these heroes up more, I could also go other heroes. I could push Antandra earlier and get also a better tank. And the goal is just to get them to Mythic Plus as fast as possible. And then you can swap back in the Epic. But as soon as I get them closer to Mythic Plus, I'm gonna stop this strategy. And instead of like doing the strategy in an episode, I should just have done this video from the beginning. And that's my bad. And I'm gonna learn from that. And hopefully not make that mistake in the future, so you guys are better informed instead of rushing something out. A big part of the discussion that's been in the comments is that if I high roll and so on, other people comparing their accounts to, or not comparing or telling how fast they got a copy, but you might also have high rolled. It's so hard to compare it, because even though it's 5%, we know some people that never pulled a pity, and we know some people that have never pulled an early. Even though the stats are somewhat on your side, you can also have bad RNG and be that 1 in 100 guys that just get pity all the time. Like, if you compare it to... Now I don't have footage of it because it was before I started making content, but my main account, for example, we had people on our server spending, and I waited to spend, and I still had more hero copies than them. I didn't pull a single pity for like the first 2 weeks of playing the game, and I also pulled a lot of early copies. So I had like S plus Temesia, S plus Thoran, and who else was it? S plus Cecia, in like 1.5 weeks because I just was that lucky. So I understand the argument you're saying about this. It's so hard comparing to other people's account because you might have high rolled and so on. So that's become a bit more difficult. And what I'm gonna do is bring up, I'm just gonna turn off the background music, and then we're gonna take a look here. And let's see if I can find it. That was after poll. So here we have it. Here, when I had one summon left, this will also be included in a later episode of the free to play. But here, when I have one summon left, I did it on purpose. So since I didn't get the early pull, I now have a higher degree to pull these as well. And I swapped them back from the A tiers to the S tiers I really want, like Aaron, Smokey, Thoran, Carolina, and Temesia. Smokey and Aaron. Smokey and Aaron. And here I'm just talking about which hero I really wanted. Okay. This thing is Smokey. Okay, come on, Smoke. I need. Oh.
Thorn.
And it was a Thorn. And I was a bit disappointed because I was hoping for a Smokey or Aaron. So, but after this is done, I swap back to the A tiers, like you can see in here. Like I said, I'm just gonna continue this strategy until I got Odie and Merrily up to Mythic Plus, so I can start upgrading them, because that's when I get an advantage. The plan was never to boost these until I get a S plus or something like that. Or would it be really good to get them to S plus? Yes, but long term, having that strategy, it is punishing as well. That's a valid argument that's been brought forward by the comments, that it can be punishing long term if you continue this strategy for a long time. But like I said, I did a mistake in that video and not explaining it properly and doing a video like this. So the plan isn't like continuing this forever. The plan is to do it in the beginning. So you boost up these heroes, you can reach high up in Dream Realm. And you might say, hey, that's not very high up. No, it's in the start of the day. And this stuff also depends on how much everyone else have high roll on your server as well, and how many whales there are on the server. I have no clue how many is on this server. For sure, the top 10 is probably at least spenders on some degree. Even top 20 might be spenders on some degree, or just been high rolling a lot. And then we have a lot of people that's just above me as well. They could be spenders or not. Oh, they have Ronin. He's in my guild. But it could be high rollers as well. Like, it's so hard to tell. And since I already done two accounts in the other way, where you only go for S tiers, and one of them was a really high rolling account, hard to compare it as well, because that server had a lot of whales, and even though I high rolled a lot, I got into top 20, but I also haven't had proper time to be as optimal as you need to be in the beginning when playing a new server, because June 6th update dropped, so I had to make videos about that, and then I had to play those accounts so they don't fall behind. This has basically been my side project, and I've done it once. I've done all of the other stuff, and then I've had work. The account is on day 6, and I think it's in a pretty solid place, to be honest. I hope that made it a bit more clear what the plan is. My apologies for not being clear in the beginning. Next time, when I have an idea like this, I'm gonna take my time to make sure I communicate exactly what I mean, and not be like, ooh, I found this and it's really good, and then it's just a side note, basically. I'm gonna make deep dives into explaining why I think it's good and so on instead. But as always, thanks for watching, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.